The afternoon sun beat down on my parents' sprawling backyard in the Dallas suburbs. The kind of perfect Texas day that makes everything feel deceptively peaceful. Laughter floated from the grill where neighbors and relatives gathered around my father Michael as he flipped burgers with his usual proud grin. I stood a little apart, helping my 4-year-old daughter Ava balance a slice of watermelon on her plate without dripping juice on her yellow sundress. At 34, I had learned to navigate these family gatherings like a minefield. Smile. Stay polite. Don't rock the boat. But that day, the boat didn't just rock. It capsized completely. My sister Taylor, 2 years younger, held court near the patio table with her new boyfriend Marcus, an investment type with slick-back hair and an overly confident swagger. Taylor's laugh rang out too loud, her gestures exaggerated as she recounted her latest wellness retreat in LA. She had built quite the following online, curating an image of effortless glamour and deep wisdom. What people didn't see were the late-night calls to our parents begging for rent money or the sharp messages she sent when things didn't go her way. I kept my distance, focusing on Ava. But when I overheard Marcus pitching my father on a guaranteed triple-your-money opportunity that smelled like a classic pyramid scheme, something inside me snapped. Years of biting my tongue had built up, and this time the words came out before I could stop them. Dad. That sounds too good to be true, I said calmly, stepping closer with Ava at my side. Maybe look into it a bit more. The patio went quiet. Marcus's smile tightened. Taylor's face flushed crimson, her hands balling into fists. Of course you'd say that. Rachel, she hissed, voice rising. Always the perfect one. Always making me look bad. You never believe in me. Our mother Karen rushed over, placing a hand on Taylor's arm. Sweetheart, calm down. Rachel didn't mean it that way. But Taylor was already beyond reason. She snatched her oversized mug of steaming hot coffee from the table, the kind she'd been sipping all afternoon, fresh from the pot, and in one furious motion, hurled it straight at me. I stepped back instinctively, but little Ava had toddled forward, drawn by the raised voices. The scalding liquid missed me and splashed across Ava's right arm and chest. Her scream pierced the air like nothing I'd ever heard, a raw, agonizing wail that froze everyone in place. Time seemed to stretch and shatter. 1 second I was standing there in shock, the next I was on my knees, cradling her small trembling body as angry red blisters began forming on her delicate skin. Guests stood paralyzed. Call an ambulance, I shouted, my voice breaking. My best friend Jenna, visiting from Portland, already had her phone out, dialing frantically. Through Ava's sobs, I heard my mother's voice, eerily composed. Taylor's just passionate. Rachel, don't make a scene. Passionate. That word hit like a slap. My daughter was burning in pain, and they were worried about appearances. Jenna knelt beside me. My car's out front. The ambulance will take forever. Let's get her to the ER now. I scooped Ava up, her cries echoing as we rushed through the house. Behind us, my mother called out, Rachel. Wait. Taylor didn't mean it. You're tearing the family apart. I didn't look back. The drive to the hospital blurred into a haze of Ava's whimpers, my racing pulse, and Jenna's steady reassurances. In the ER, the next hours unfolded in a nightmare of bright lights, antiseptic smells, and gentle but firm hands from nurses and doctors. They confirmed second-degree burns, painful, but treatable without scarring if we followed care instructions meticulously. As they cleaned and bandaged the wounds, Ava's soft cries nearly undid me. Jenna stayed the whole time, fetching coffee and shielding me from incoming calls. 3 messages from my mother, each more insistent. Taylor was devastated. I needed to forgive her, assure her it was okay. Not one asked how Ava was doing. Later, when Ava finally slept under sedation in the pediatric ward, I stepped into the hallway and dialed my mother. "Thank God," she answered. Taylor's beside herself. "Mom," I cut in, voice steady despite the storm inside. "Ava has second-degree burns. The doctor said if it had hit her face or been hotter, it could have meant skin grafts. Accidents happen. Rachel, you've always been so unforgiving." Taylor's passionate. She feels everything so deeply. Passionate again. As if that excused throwing boiling coffee at a child. "This wasn't an accident," I replied slowly. "She threw it during an argument. Ava just got in the way. If you keep excusing this, if you can't see it's assault and child endangerment, then I have to protect Ava. Even if that means keeping her away from all of you." My mother's sharp breath turned wounded, the tone that once made me yield. "You'd keep me from my granddaughter after everything we've done?" I glanced through the door at Ava's small form, bandaged and vulnerable. "Yes," I said quietly, and hung up. That night in the recliner beside her bed, exhaustion mixed with clarity. The pattern of favoritism and excused cruelty that had defined our family couldn't continue through Ava. My childhood in the upscale Dallas neighborhood had seemed idyllic from outside: private schools, music lessons, family vacations. But when Taylor arrived, everything shifted. She became the golden child. Her drawings displayed prominently while mine went in drawers. Her outbursts labeled artistic temperament, my steady grades simply expected. "Taylor feels things more intensely," Mom would say. "You're so sensible." Sensible sounded like an insult. By high school, I worked part-time jobs while Taylor bounced through interests, needing bailouts when she failed classes or spent impulsively. After college, I moved to Portland for space and opportunity, met my ex-husband who couldn't handle parenthood, divorced amicably, kept primary custody of Ava. Taylor, meanwhile, chased influencer fame in New York, her account showcasing curated perfection while hiding frantic family pleas for cash and vicious online jabs at me. I maintained minimal contact, holidays, video calls, to keep peace. Until that barbecue shattered it all. The days after the hospital stay passed in a fog of wound care, pain management for Ava, and quiet resolve building inside me. At home in my cozy Portland townhouse, I watched her heal, the blisters fading under careful dressings, her laughter returning slowly as we read stories and played gentle games. But every bandage change reminded me of the betrayal, not just Taylor's impulsive violence, but my parents' immediate defense of her. Passionate. The word echoed mockingly. I knew I couldn't let Ava grow up internalizing that toxic dynamic, believing her safety mattered less than her aunt's feelings. Cutting ties quietly wouldn't suffice. Taylor had physically harmed my child, and my parents had enabled it through years of unequal treatment. Consequences were needed, real, unavoidable ones. What my family never suspected was how much my life had changed in secret. While they saw me as the sensible, somewhat struggling single mom managing a marketing role at a mid-sized firm, I had quietly built something substantial. During the divorce years, freelance gigs evolved into Morgan Media Group, a boutique agency specializing in tech startups and digital branding. What started as side work to cover bills had grown to a team of 6, steady 7-figure revenue, premium clients, and my own investments. I kept it hidden deliberately, partly habit from never having achievements celebrated, partly strategy. Taylor had a history of hitting me up for loans the moment she learned of extra money, and my parents would expect bailouts during her crises. They viewed me as the reliable but unremarkable daughter who needed their approval more than they needed mine. That illusion was about to crumble. I spent the following week methodically gathering evidence. Screenshots of Taylor's escalating texts over the years, threats, mockery of my parenting, demands for cash. Bank records showing the thousands funneled to Taylor versus the repaid loans they occasionally gave me. Ava's detailed medical records. Photos of the burns. Witness statements from Jenna and 2 barbecue guests who saw the entire confrontation. It painted a clear picture of long-term enabling and one explosive act of assault. Next, I consulted Elena Vargas, a sharp family law attorney in downtown Portland with a reputation for tough abuse cases. Her office overlooked the river, lined with awards that conveyed quiet authority. After reviewing everything, she confirmed strong grounds for assault charges against Taylor, potentially naming parents for enabling. But criminal pursuit might backfire with their financial support for her defense. A civil suit and restraining order offered better leverage, forcing disclosure through discovery while protecting Ava and me. We also discussed a temporary restraining order petition based on the medical evidence and witnesses. Yet Elena sensed I wanted more than court papers. You want them to feel the loss of what they cherish most, their perfect family image. Exactly. Their social standing. The fiction of unconditional love and success. Together we shaped a dual strategy. Legal filings for protection and potential suit, plus preparation for public accountability at an event they couldn't ignore. The opportunity arrived 3 weeks later via my mother's call. Her voice overly bright. Taylor was hosting the launch party for her expanded lifestyle brand in New York City's historic Grand Ballroom on September 15th. Media, sponsors, influencers, everyone who mattered. She wants you there to make amends, Mom insisted. I agreed smoothly, hiding my preparations. In the weeks leading up, I coordinated with Elena on documents, hired a digital forensics expert to document Taylor's history of online harassment and inflated metrics, purchased followers, fake engagement, and worked with a designer on presentation slides impossible to dismiss, timeline of incidents, texts, financial disparities, medical photos, evidence of brand fraud. I also stepped into my own power after years of downplaying success. A stylist helped select a striking emerald gown that radiated confidence. Jenna agreed to watch Ava during my trip. I rehearsed my words nightly, transforming anxiety into steady resolve. Memories flooded during quiet moments, childhood Christmases where Taylor's gifts overshadowed mine. Teenage arguments dismissed as my sensitivity. The divorce period when my parents offered platitudes but no real help while rushing to Taylor's latest drama. Ava's healing skin became my anchor, proof that protection mattered more than obligation. By the time I boarded the flight to New York, my plan felt solid yet terrifying. The family dynamic had always positioned me as the background supporter, Taylor as the star. Her Instagram portrayed authentic living, wellness, relationships, carefully filtered. Followers saw none of the volatility, none of the financial dependence, none of the cruelty. Exposing it would shatter that. But Ava's scream in the backyard replayed in my mind, fueling determination. No more silence. No more excuses. The truth, long buried under politeness and guilt, needed air. As the plane descended into the city lights, I felt the weight of decades lifting slightly. Not triumph yet, but the beginning of freedom. The Grand Ballroom in Manhattan glittered under crystal chandeliers. Marble pillars draped in blush and gold florals matching Taylor's brand palette. Late summer humidity lingered outside, but inside the air hummed with anticipation. Instagram influencers snapping selfies, fashion bloggers mingling, potential sponsors in sharp suits. I arrived deliberately late, 30 minutes after start time, when the crowd had thickened. Heads turned slightly at my entrance. The emerald gown, tailored hair, and makeup projected a woman who belonged in these circles. Not the understated daughter they remembered. My parents spotted me first. Mom's eyes widened in surprise at my polished appearance. "Rachel, you look different." New dress? She asked, air kissing my cheeks. It suits you, Dad added awkwardly, hugging me. How's Ava healing? Well, I replied evenly. Specialists say no scarring expected. Discomfort flickered across his face before he changed subject to Taylor's nearly million followers. I knew the real count was inflated. Taylor glided over in a custom white jumpsuit. Blonde waves perfect. Champagne in hand. You came, she said, hugging stiffly. Wouldn't miss it, I answered, masking bitterness. Marcus hovered, whispering about arriving brand reps. She dismissed me with a smile to network. The atmosphere felt electric yet fragile, like a stage set for performance. Taylor took the small stage precisely on time, tapping her glass for attention. Welcome, everyone. I'm thrilled you're here for this next chapter. She spoke with practiced humility, thanking sponsors, followers, then family, my incredible parents who supported me unconditionally, and my sister Rachel, my biggest inspiration. The lie landed heavily in my chest. As applause rippled, I nodded to the AV technician I'd prearranged with. The screen behind her, meant for her logo, instead displayed the first text exchange, Taylor's vicious rant after I refused a loan. Words threatening and cruel. Murmurs spread. Taylor continued speaking, unaware at first, until gasps grew loud. She turned, color draining from her face. What is this? The slide advanced, another message mocking my parenting, calling Ava spoiled. I stepped forward, voice carrying clearly. You spoke about authenticity. Taylor, your guests deserve to see the real you. Silence descended, heavy and absolute. The screen shifted to Ava's hospital photos, bandaged burns stark against her skin, followed by witness accounts from the barbecue. 3 weeks ago, I continued. My sister threw boiling coffee at me during an argument. It hit my 4-year-old daughter, causing second-degree burns. When I rushed her to the ER, my parents said I was making a scene and that Taylor was simply passionate. Shocked whispers erupted. My parents pushed through the crowd, Mom grabbing my arm. Stop this now. You're humiliating us. I removed her hand firmly. For once, I'm not stopping. Ava deserves better. I deserve better. Taylor seized the mic. Voice shrill. This is taken out of context. Rachel's always been jealous. Editing messages. The medical records aren't edited, I countered calmly. Neither are the police report or witness statements. Mention of police quieted her. Dad tried damage control. Folks, sorry for this family spat. Let's take it private. A new voice interjected. Lena Chun, reporter from a prominent lifestyle outlet I'd tipped off. This relates directly to your brand's authenticity and family values claims. Taylor. Phones emerged. Recording. The room transformed into an impromptu tribunal. I advanced the slides, timeline of favoritism incidents from childhood, specific memories like Taylor's tantrums excused while my efforts ignored, bank transfers favoring her, evidence of follower fraud via bot engagement and fake sponsorships. Mom insisted it was misconstrued private business. Child abuse isn't private, I stated loudly. Neither is fraud. The word fraud sent ripples. Taylor crumpled into a chair. Makeup running. Marcus whispered angrily to her. Dad looked lost, hand on her shoulder. I announced the restraining order protecting Ava and me from Taylor, and intent to pursue civil suit against all three for assault and enabling abuse. You'd sue family after all we've done? Dad asked hoarsely. What have you done? Exactly? Supported my divorce? Helped with Ava? Believed me about Taylor's harassment? No answer came. I've built Morgan Media Group over 5 years, 7 figures. My home paid off. Investments. I never told you because Taylor would demand money. You'd expect bailouts. I needed protection and love, not conditions. The revelation stunned them hardest, their narrative of me as lesser shattered. Guests either stared transfixed or slipped away discreetly. Catering staff maintained neutral professionalism amid unfolding drama. Taylor's triumphant launch had become her public reckoning. "You've ruined everything," she sobbed. "Are you happy?" The question missed the point entirely. "I'm not happy. Taylor. Ava still heals from your burns. Our family is broken. But I'm free. And Ava will know no one, not even family, can hurt her without consequence." I turned, parting the stunned crowd. Phone buzzing later with Jenna's update. Ava sleeping peacefully. Outside in the cool New York night. Relief washed over me. Truth spoken. Power dynamic shifted. Fallout loomed. Legal battles. Side-taking. Possible media spin. But fear no longer gripped me. The cycle ended here. Walking away from the ballroom. The city's energy buzzed around me, but felt distant. I hailed a cab back to my hotel. Mind replaying every reaction. The gasps. Taylor's breakdown. My parents' dawning realization. No joy in their pain. Only profound release from decades of suppressed truth. Back in Portland the next morning, Ava's hug grounded me completely. Jenna listened as I recounted everything over coffee. Her support unwavering. Legal proceedings began swiftly, restraining order granted based on evidence. Civil suit filed naming Taylor for assault. Parents for enabling through long-term favoritism and failure to protect. Discovery would unearth more. But the public exposure already forced accountability their money couldn't fully shield. In the following months, ripples spread. Social media buzzed with clips of the event, some condemning Taylor's brand hypocrisy, others questioning family loyalty extremes. Sponsors pulled quietly, follower count dipped as authenticity claims crumbled. My parents reached out variably, angry voicemails, guilt-laden messages. One tentative attempt at reconciliation where mom admitted partial fault but still defended Taylor's intensity. I held firm. Therapy for all might help. But contact remained limited until Ava's safety was unquestioned. Taylor attempted spin pieces portraying herself as victim of jealousy. But evidence held strong. My agency thrived further. No longer hidden, clients respected the integrity shown. Reflecting now, the core wound was never one incident, but a lifetime pattern where love felt conditional on compliance, where one child's needs eclipsed another's. Ava asks occasionally about extended family. I answer honestly but age-appropriately, emphasizing chosen bonds and boundaries. Jenna, colleagues, and new connections form our real support circle. The question lingers, when does family obligation end and self-preservation begin? In our case, it crystallized that hot afternoon when passion became violence, and excuses became enabling. Breaking free wasn't easy, but Ava's healing smile confirms its necessity. Some ties, once severed cleanly, allow genuine growth elsewhere. The family we build through honesty and protection often surpasses the one we're born into.